So by now, everyone is aware of Premier League referee David Coote making disparaging and offensive remarks about former Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp, as well as against the club itself. Now, if you haven't seen this, then here's the highlights reel.
Liverpool was shit.
What do you think of Jurgen Klopp?
Cunt. Absolutely. I've got no interest in speaking to someone who's fucking arrogant. So I do my best not to speak to him. But, oh my God. German cunt, fuck me.
What a charming fella. So at the end of this video, I'll give my thoughts on what he said and what I think should happen soon. But first off, let's look at 4 different instances where David Coote got in the way of football justice. Go. 2019-20 will forever be remembered as the season that Liverpool finally broke that 3-decade Premier League hoodoo and ran away with the title. However, Liverpool fans were left sweating after the league was suspended in March due to the coronavirus pandemic. Now, earlier that season, Liverpool faced Manchester United at Old Trafford, and after starting the season in electric form, winning their opening 8 fixtures. The United game proved a trickier test though, and Marcus Rashford got them off to a 1-0 lead, although in the build-up to that goal, the referee missed an obvious foul on Origi by Victor Lindelof. David Coote was on VAR duty in that match, and after the game, Jurgen Klopp described it as a goal which shows all of the problems with VAR. Now, did it have a major effect on the Red season? Well, ultimately, no. In this game, Adam Lallana would score a late equaliser, and Liverpool continued to rack up the points. When the league was finally suspended in March, the Reds were an incredible 25 points clear of Manchester City, with City still playing for a potential 30 points. So even a win at Old Trafford wouldn't have been enough to win the Premier League before the pandemic shut down. Now, Liverpool had already won the league at a canter when they hosted Burnley at Anfield in July 2020. The Reds went 1-0 up thanks to an Andy Robertson goal, with Burnley getting a deserved equaliser later on. In the grand scheme of things, the game won't be remembered for much, but this could have been the game where the animosity between Coote and Klopp's Liverpool really got started. Robertson felt that he was fouled and Liverpool should have been awarded a penalty, with Coote on refereeing duty that day. After the match, Robertson let the ref know exactly how he felt, with Klopp not exactly stepping in to calm the Scotland captain down. Now, was this what Coote meant when he spoke of Klopp's arrogance? Well, who knows? Although it did nothing to stop Liverpool's status as Premier League champions, it did put a dent in their quest to beat Manchester City's 100 points record, with the Reds falling short by a single point. The most famous of these incidents happened in October 2020 when Coote was the VAR in the Merseyside derby at Goodison Park during the lockdown season. That day, Jordan Pickford's reckless challenge forced Virgil van Dijk off the pitch and ultimately out for this season. After this clear foul by the Everton keeper, everyone expected a yellow or red card along with a possible penalty for Liverpool. However, the officials were so preoccupied with the possible offside in the build-up, no one gave much thought towards a penalty and punishment for Pickford. Michael Oliver, who was the referee that day, later admitted that he should have sent Pickford off, as he and Coote got sucked into checking for the offside. However, it wasn't just a case of getting lost in the moment, as Coote believed the offside nullified everything from that point forward as a new phase of play, so he didn't review the challenge on Van Dijk, meaning that he got the rules of the game wrong. Now, is this evidence of corruption? I don't think it is, but it is incompetence, and an unconscious bias against Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool team after a series of run-ins cannot be disregarded. Former Premier League referee Dermot Gallagher later apologised to Liverpool and explained how human error by the VAR allowed for Jordan Pickford to go unpunished for his challenge on Virgil van Dijk. Did this VAR decision have a negative impact on Liverpool? Well, yes and no, in that at the very least, Pickford should have been sent off, which could have put a very different picture on the game. But it did not affect Liverpool's season, though, as even with the correct VAR decision, Van Dijk would have been out for the season. Liverpool's central defender injury crisis saw Jordan Henderson and Fabinho serve as auxiliary centre-backs before Nat Phillips and Reece Williams would get their chance in the team. For good measure, VAR also ruled out what should have been a late winning goal for Jordan Henderson, deeming Sadio Mane to be offside in the build-up. Now, it's unclear how a decision was reached here on what is the most marginal of calls, and I can't understand how people are making an offside call based on this information. In December last season, Arsenal and Liverpool were going toe-to-toe at the top of the Premier League. Mo Salah equalised for Liverpool after the Gunners went ahead in a match that would ultimately end 1-1. However, the main talking point from the match was an incident in the first half after Mohamed Salah's flick-on hit Martin Odegaard's hand in the penalty area. Referee Chris Kavanagh did not award a penalty for Liverpool, and VAR reviewed the incident and confirmed the decision. He was, of course, on VAR that day and said that the ball clearly hits his arm. Then after looking at another angle says, so he's falling down, he's moving his arms towards him. So it's check complete for me. Check it out. So what kind of negative effect did this have on Liverpool? Well, if they did manage to get a penalty and win the match, it would have taken them to the top of the Premier League table for Christmas. Ultimately, Liverpool fell short in the title race, and I'm not really sure that a win here would have changed that. It might have given them more confidence to go on a run and gather a few more points, but I don't think that the transitional nature of the side and also being Jurgen Klopp's final season would have made it possible to make up the 9 points that they trailed behind Manchester City at the end of the season. So what next for David Coote? Well, as of today, he's been suspended by the PGMOL pending a full investigation. Initially, it looked like Coote was distanced himself from the video with rumours of it being like a deep fake or something, but later he confirmed that it was authentic. Now, do I think this whole thing points towards proof of corruption at the top of refereeing? I don't. I really don't. I think fans that have this, these concepts of the whole of refereeing or the Premier League having some kind of issue or bias against their particular team, I think it's ridiculous. Referees don't gather together in a pub, before the season starts and decide who they're going to favour this season or all this kind of stuff. But I think it does point out that referees, apart from, they can be stunningly incompetent even in this VAR age, but they can also have bias, whether it's unconscious or conscious. So I think on a purely refereeing level, he shouldn't be seen in the Premier League. And not because he doesn't like Klopp or Liverpool, but because he was so stupid and unprofessional enough to say these things directly to camera. I mean, I'm sure all the referees say things to their very closest friends and family, but they're not broadcasting it on social media, which is essentially what he's doing. What does he think? This thing is just going to get deleted? Do you think it's going to stay on someone's phone? It's going to come out, of course it is. It's completely unprofessional, unrealistic to assume otherwise. And if this would happen in any other job, he'd lose it. But, another point that seems to have been lost is the negative remarks about Jurgen Klopp coupled with mentions of his nationality. Now, I think if the Premier League is serious about the message of kick it out, he should not be refereeing in the Premier League ever again. I think anything else would be hypocritical, asking players and promoting, people taking the knee against forms of prejudice and discrimination, then allowing discriminatory language to be used by a referee and giving him his job back a couple of weeks later. I think that would be really, really hypocritical, and I think the Premier League need to take a strong stand on this. It's a no-brainer. I do think it's not particularly helpful to see the public flogging of a sports official, essentially. And Coote should be offered support and guidance by his union. He shouldn't be alone in this. He's made mistakes, but, it's not the end of the world. He's a human being. It doesn't really matter that much in the great scheme of things, but it is important, and standards, I think, should be upheld in this instance. Now, I mean, what do you think? If you've got any thoughts on this, you agree with me, you disagree with me, you think I've missed some of these incidents by Coote. Apparently, the Rodri handball at Everton had nothing to do with him. That would have been the worst of the lot, but it had nothing to do with him, apparently. But if you've got any thoughts on this, then drop a comment below here and let me know what you think. Up the Reds.